Good morning. Today I'd like to talk to you about a problem that we all experience from time to time. Is your tachometer not working correctly on your motorcycle? Well, today I'm here to help you solve that problem. We will be removing it, cleaning it, lubricating it, and reinstalling it and seeing if that helps make it like new again. So come on and join me and see if together we can get this thing working. The way a tachometer works is pretty simple. There's this reinforced tubing that runs from the back of the tach gauge down to the engine. Inside of the tube is a long spring which spins with the engine. It's just hooked on a little piece that spins it. So inside of here is a spinning spring when the motor's running, and it transfers that information up to the tach where we read it on the screen. So it's pretty simple, almost like how it's the same principle as how the speedometer works on an old Volkswagen. It just hooks to the front wheel and spins and comes back and tells how fast the wheel is spinning and therefore tells how fast you're going. And just like that on this motorcycle, it's pretty simple. Right here is where the tachometer cable inserts into the engine. This right here is a threaded nut on the outside. It has outside threads that thread into this hole here to hold it in place. You're going to want to do this when the engine's cold for obvious reasons. And I'm using my set of channel locks here to just lightly twist to remove this cable. But once you get it loosened enough where you can turn it by hand, you can just twist it out of here. And inside is a little, I'd say a pin that's flat, and it spins. There's a little attachment that hooks onto the end of it, and when it spins with the engine, it spins the cable. So the cable moves freely in this line. So you can see here what I mean with the threads on the outside. So it threads right in here, and let me show you what it looks like in here. See the little flat pin? And so that turns with the motor, and that's what tells the gauge what the RPMs are. And now we'll remove the piece that's attached to the tachometer in the same way. It's just a little screw-in cap that we can loosen and twist with our fingers to remove it. Pay attention to how this cable is routed so you can put it back in here when you return it. So you can see inside it is like a spring, and there is a square tip on the end, and that's what fits up in the tach to spin it. So now I see that there is more than just cleaning and lubing this tachometer cable to get it to work again. On the very end, see, it's just a spring. Look at that. See, that's the part that clips into that little part that I showed you earlier. It is just tore completely up. So that would be attached to this cable like this to spin it, so it would spin there. So I really don't think I'll be able to find one of these without buying a whole nother cable. But I think if I put it on here, squeeze it, maybe it'll stay. And maybe it'll work. Maybe I fixed it. So before I reinstall this, we will clean it, and since it is just a spring, we can remove it from the tube. We will clean the inside of the tube, and we will also clean the spring, and then we'll re-lubricate it, put it back in, and hope for the best. I'll be using a brake parts cleaner, non-chlorinated, to clean these with, because it says it can be used on springs, and that's what I'm working on. And also the carb cleaner says for all metal parts, and so since I'm going to be spraying it down in this this here, I'd prefer not to use something that just says metal, because this has rubber on it. So brake cleaner it is. I don't think they make such a thing as tack cable cleaner. So I'm just gonna spray down in here. I have my trusty oil pan. And my glasses. And you want to be careful you don't let the straw fall down in there. It might be hard to get out. Yep, you can see how it removed a lot of stuff. Bend it around a little bit in here, clean out all the insides of it. Run a little bit more through the hose. Yep, I do see some yucky sediment and stuff coming out of there. So we'll let those dry for a little while. Let me go take this back and pour it where I keep this old used chemicals, and we'll be right back to reinstall it. Looks good to go. So I'll wipe out my bucket again and grab some lubricating spray, and we will spray these parts down, put them back together. And I decided the silicone would be the best lubricant to use on this application. So spray some in here. spray some on the cable. Now remember, the side with the outside threads goes into the engine, so that's where this piece with this little piece that I squeezed on there goes. So we'll slide it in this way. And go put it back on the bike. I'm glad to see you made it back in. Such a beautiful sunny day. I wanted to stay out there too. But let's get this finished up and see if it works. Come on, cable. And then we'll attach the bottom. So you see that's facing straight up and down. So we'll get the little cable, make sure it's straight up and down, and put it right on there. And push it in. There we go. And then we'll just tighten this back up. Go ahead, crank her up and see if it works. Perfect. Well, that's one more thing checked off the list. I'm glad I got it done. I'm glad it works. I hope it stays working for a little while. I'm gonna go out and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, I'd appreciate it. It really helps me out. And if you want to know when I post things, you can hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. You all have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye.